Yo, what up? Welcome to Mo Boxing No Problem. I'm Jose Ramirez Jr. and I'm joined by my co-host for the night, TJ, aka the Boxing Syndicate. What up, TJ?
What's up, yo?
And we got a special guest with us tonight. We got pro boxer Anthony Sims Jr. What's going on, Anthony?
What's going on?
Man, we're excited to have you on. Thank you for making the time.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely. So before we get started with the questions, I actually want to play a clip that TJ uploaded a week ago. Shows some of your highlights. So for people that aren't familiar with Anthony Sims Jr., they can kind of get a feel for fight style. So let me go ahead and get that clip played.
See this.
I don't care.
That was dope.
I appreciate that, TJ. Right on, man. I appreciate that. That's some love.
Oh yeah, for sure, man, for sure.
Yeah, man. So for the first question, let's go all the way back. So we like asking boxers this question just to know how they got their start in the sport. So Anthony, how did you get into boxing?
Man, my father passed away, and I started boxing 2 days later. I need something to teach me, like something to help me, get through what I was getting with emotionally. But it taught me, discipline, respect. It taught me how to manage my time. It taught me a lot of things I use in day-to-day life. So I got jumped into boxing.
That's what's up.
And then we were gonna go into like how you got your nickname. Where did the magician come from?
Man, I got the magician. I was at what's the name of that gym? Wild Card. There's a guy in there by Marco. His uncle gave me the name. I was hitting the bag, and then I went to spar. And he said, "Man, you like magic. You like magician." But to be honest, the reason I really call myself a magician, because I could have picked many names, is I've had a crazy 21 years in boxing. And abracadabra, alakazam, here I am. Like, I shouldn't have made it this far. So that's why I call myself a magician, literally.
Yeah, it fits. It fits. And then Anthony, going back to your amateur days, what was your record in the amateurs, and were there any tournaments that you end up winning?
Man, I had over 250 amateur fights. I had 2 pass books. I won 13 national titles. I placed third in international. I think it was the IABAS, the junior world in Armenia. Yeah. But man, I had a lot of amateur fights.
That's a lot, 250, man.
Yeah, my first fight was at 45 pounds. It was an exhibition. Most of my fights were exhibitions. Literally. Yeah.
And then we know you the cousin of Floyd Mayweather, man. Like, what role have they played in your What role have they played in like your boxing life and just your career? Just in general.
Man, he played a perfect role. He did what he's supposed to do. He let me come into the gym. I never got charged to go to the gym. Roger never charged to train me. They treated me like family. They did everything they're supposed to do. I just wanted to take my own path and do things my way. I never wanted to be behind the banner of Mayweather or Roger Mayweather or Floyd.
Right.
And people, some people won't understand that, but it's like, my journey is for me, for Sims. So I had to walk that path. But no, they did everything they're supposed to do. They trained me every day, took good care of me. Boza Edwards, Jeff, everybody in that gym. Can't say nothing negative or bad about them.
That's awesome. And then Anthony, so far your only blemish was that split decision loss to Romer Alexis Angulo.
Yeah.
What do you recall from that fight? What do you wish you could have done differently? And ultimately, what did you learn from that loss?
Well, my first answer is as a man. I lost that fight fair and square. I can't point the fingers at anybody but myself. Second answer is as a fighter. My coach left before the day of the fight. He didn't want to be there because he wanted to be a manager. He wanted more money. So it was just an ugly fight in itself. But that was my worst night. And it still was a close decision. So it's a time for growth, man. All the great fighters went through what I'm going through. But the issue is now fighters avoid going through this. Everybody wants to stay undefeated.
Right.
So Roberto Duran, Marvin Hagler, Sugar Ray Robinson, all these fighters, Tommy Hearns, all these guys lost and had to make a comeback, had to change, had to adapt with the times where they're going from the 80s to the 90s or the 90s to 2000s. Even with Cotto, you've seen all these fighters adjust. So it's like that's where I'm at. I've adjusted. I needed that loss. it's like it's out the way now. Like, what's the worst that could happen? I lost. Oh well. What's next?
Yep.
Right. And speaking on that loss, and if we, correct us if we're wrong, but did Eddie Hearn terminate that contract over after that loss? And then was that a friendly split, or was there kind of like some bad blood there?
I'll be honest. It was through email. I got an email from him. It was a business decision. They wanted to renegotiate after that, but things happen the way they happen, dog. It's business. It's boxing. To me, it may be personal, but overall, it's the boxing. It's the business side.
Yeah, man. And speaking of kind of things happening, how they're supposed to happen. I know you guys had 2 fights in the UK. The first one was back in 2018, and then last year you got to fight in Dubai. What has those experiences fighting abroad been?
Man, I was based in the UK for some years when I was signed with Eddie Hearns, but Dubai was great too. It was more of just to keep busy.
Mm-hmm.
I got to keep busy in Dubai. Who the hell gets to do that? I have to keep busy in a smoker fight or some fucking stinky casino. I got flown to Dubai and got like the best of the best the whole week. Was in the hot ocean. Everything was taken care of. I'm riding around with kings and riding fucking camels. Like, my life was amazing in Dubai.
Can't beat that.
If anything, man, it taught me. It showed me like an original people that can be that happy and be in the heat all day in full clothes suits. And it's hot. You have every reason to be angry or frustrated, but happy. Not even sweating. That's a cold person, man. You don't sweat in the heat like that. It's 105 degrees. You come out. How you doing, man? It's nice outside, ain't it? I'm dying out here. Even the ocean is hot.
Oh, wow.
The ocean is like hot, like a hot tub. Yeah.
Dang.
Have to give you some detail on that. Scare. People don't understand what Dubai is. Dubai is a different world. You don't see no gum on the ground. There's no dirt on the ground. You can put your wallet down and walk away because still in there, you get your hands chopped off. Yeah, so that's Dubai for you.
There you go.
Don't steal. You learned a lesson. If you want to go to Dubai, don't steal. You get your hands chopped off.
Don't do it.
And then, obviously, I made a post about you not too long ago. Obviously, wondering where you've been at. You haven't fought since last December. Could we see you in the ring soon?
Yes, but the issue is all these fighters are ducking me. I'm coming to 160 now. So, there's some fighters about to fight. I'm not going to say no names, but it's a fight at 160 of Mexican descent. Turn me down. I'm not going to say any names, but there's conversations made. I'm not about to answer your question.
I can kind of get it. I can kind of get who it is.
Let you go, but somebody I was really excited about fighting because I'm campaigning 160. Can you imagine getting a career for 21 years and you finally find out you was doing things the hard way, fighting people too big, fighting people too tall? I was fighting light heavyweight. My first 12, 15 fights was light heavyweight. The Junior Olympics, Olympic trials, I fought light heavyweight. I'm a natural 160 pounder. I was aggressive as light heavyweight. Super middleweight more elusive. What you think you about to see at 160? They know what they're going to see at 160. That's why nobody signed these contracts. I'm knocking out all the doors. I'm calling all the numbers, talking to all the promoters. So, I don't know. Maybe this podcast, maybe one of them to see it.
Hopefully.
For legal reasons, I can't really say any names. But, 160, I want to fight him. Roberto Duran, Marvin Hagler, Tommy Hearns. You talk about all these historic fights that's happened back-to-back. They turn around fading each other back-to-back. And taking L. Somebody got to lose. These wasn't draw fights.
Right.
Roberto Duran whooped Hagler. Nobody would have ever imagined that happening, but how did it happen? Well, the fight happened. These fights ain't happening no more. Now it's arguments and back and forth. Man, if we was in the 80s, Errol Spence and Crawford would have happened 10 years ago. Yeah, I do know 10 years ago they was like teenagers. That's like, I'm just being funny, but still.
Right, I know what you mean, though, right? Yeah, I get what you're saying, though.
It's like it's disrespectful to boxing. So it's like, how you say fighters go through changes. Hagler went through changes. Roberto Duran after he got knocked out by Tommy Hearns. All these fighters had to evolve. I'm on the other side. I've evolved into this. I'm a mean 160 now. So it's like, who the fuck wants some?
Yeah.
Nobody's saying nothing.
Would you still be open to like a big fight at 168? It feels like a big name.
168. The money makes sense, yeah, but it's like, why? If I can make 160, and that's my advantage. I've been fighting with a disadvantage my whole life. Well, light heavyweights, I'm fighting motherfuckers 6'5", 6'4", 6'3", and they coming down from 200 pounds. Like, them some big cats. Yeah. Would you let Usyk punch you?
Nah.
All right, nah. Well, that's why I was fighting light heavyweight. Exactly. He's a smaller heavyweight, right? It's some monsters now, so it's like I got to get old school and grit with it. You see these old school fighters, I say Hagler, Roberto Duran, like the time of the 80s and 90s, them guys is chiseled and cut down. Why? Because they're at the best way they could be at. And they ain't making no exceptions for nobody. This is me. So 160 is where I'm at. Anybody 160 want to catch the fade? Let's do this. In a professional way, anybody 160 want to talk money and business and all the blah, blah, blah. But it's like fighters scared to lose their owe. People scared to take a chance. Now it's more of a business profit. Let's move him this way. Well, hey, once you up here and you got this many fights, some fights need to be had. I couldn't turn my collar down to Angulo. I was like, nah, I don't want to fight. Like, I fought. I lost. Great, it happened. Why you turn your collar down to me? If you could just whoop me and mop me, then fight me. If that's the case.
Yeah,
cat.
Because a name I was thinking, and this was if you were going to say at 168, was Edgar Berlanga, because he just came off that victory over Angulo.
Edgar Berlanga, man. I'll hit that motherfucker in his ears with a jab, and then I hit him. He'd be mad if I miss him. He'd be insulted if I don't hit him with a jab. So it's just like it's like he's another great fighter. That's what makes it exciting.
Right.
Like there's no B-side. It's just like both these fighters have talent: the boxer versus the puncher, or the brawler versus the boxer. But now it's just like shit set in place to be a certain way. You already know the outcome when he walks to the ring. I don't want to see that. You didn't know who was going to win when Ron Lyle and Foreman hopped in there. If you don't know that fight, watch it. Imagine two giant pit bulls fighting each other. These men both over 250 pounds, knocking each other down each round. Foreman, somebody standing toe-to-toe with George Foreman and sat George Foreman down, and he's like in the height of his career. Those are the fights I'm talking about. You're not about to see them. Everybody's like, I don't know. You know what? I see one person doing it. Crawford. Crawford will fight anybody. And before him, Sean Porter will fight anybody. And before him, Arturo Gatti, Mickey Ward, who else? Winky Wright. These guys fighting everybody. They's all tore up and busted up. They fighting everybody. That's what happens when you fight the best. I'm looking forward to these big fights where it's like, you know what? I might go down. I might have to take a knee. I might have to really like dig deep.
Right.
These are the big fights you hope for. How you getting with the promoter and the manager in the way? We'll get back to you. We don't think you're a fit for us. Get the fuck out of here, man. Come on, dog.
Oh, man. They're protecting the O's.
It's just like you wonder why people are turning to UFC and you got to bring Jake Pauls and people in the boxes because you're not letting these big fights happen because it's like more of a money. I don't know. I'm investing a lot. Let's move them this way. Once you're at the top, that's the only place you got to go is the top. Don't go fight somebody in Kazakhstan or Argentina that's not even ranked but got 21 victories or 25 victories and 6 knockouts. Like, come on, man. Mm-hmm. Don't go fight somebody with the same name as me. Y'all didn't hear that. But don't go fight somebody, like I just I don't understand boxing, man. Like another name, Dave Morrell. He turned me down.
Wow. And he's talking that smack about wanting Benavidez.
Man, he ain't talking. You need to cut that nappy ass shit off his head first before you talk. So, my fault. I got occupied the bouncy ball because I got thinking about just like that ugly ass haircut he wears.
You're like, gave me heat. I gotta.
I need. But no, it's just like you hope to take these opportunities. Once you reach a certain peak of boxing in your career, okay, the money matters, of course. But it's like the fights, the big fights that you want to be able to talk about after they're over, like these old James Tonys and Mike, Evander Holyfields. I want to be able to talk about them fights one day, but how do we make them happen in the first place? It's too many people in the way.
Yeah,
it just is. You guys don't fight, but like as like watching it as as an art. Some things aren't right about it. Like let's put this together. It'd be beautiful, masterpiece. These styles would be, but you're not seeing it happen.
Oh.
I hope I'm not just rumbling. I mean, I'm just
no. It's a great content. I think it's like content to another name we want to ask you about. Go ahead, TJ.
Right. So you see, basically we wanted to ask you kind of like where, like it's some names being discussed. We know you didn't want to hop into that, but were some names being discussed that you can kind of talk about?
No.
Like I know like a few years ago, you were saying that you and Chris Eubank Jr. will make a great fight.
Oh, of course,
yeah. I don't know if that's still on the table. I know he was trying to come down to 157 for Conor Ben, and then the whole steroid thing happened. But I don't know if he would fight you at 160.
Man, I don't know why, but it's like England love me, but certain people in England don't like me. I'm not talking about Eddie Hearn. I'm talking about other people. I don't know what it is. I wasn't even joking. Like I wasn't even joking. I would like to fight in England. Fighting a big name like Chris Eubank would be amazing. But it's just like I'll put it this way. I'm a fighter, and that makes me a certain way. It makes me outspoken. It makes me feel and walk and be a certain way. It makes me say things that most people wouldn't say. So it's like, I'll yell things out. That's how I feel. I'm a fighter. I'm supposed to. I'm supposed to be defensive about if you say something about me, regardless of who I say it to. But it's like, I feel like fighters shouldn't be penalized for voicing. No, we're fighters. The worst we could do is say words. We ain't swinging punches at you. Like, let us say how we feel about whatever, whatever it is that we feel, whether it's personal, it's about the boxing side, the ugly side. Athletes can talk about it, but football players, basketball players. Hey, I said what I said. I'm aggressive. I can be, outspoken. Some things I shouldn't have said. My manager should have stepped away and be like, "Hey, don't say that." But that's part of being a fighter. That's what made Mike Tyson Mike Tyson.
Mm-hmm.
That's what made. Who was an aggressive fighter? I mean, we can go back to like early. We can go to '70s. We can go George Foreman in Texas. Like that's another aggressive, just mean fighter. So many names. Sonny Liston with the Mafia, like just a mean, aggressive guy in general. But it's like, that's what makes us us.
Agreed.
So I just I don't know. I would love to fight in England. It's just like the right people got to talk to the right people. Now in boxing, it's like fighters gonna want to fight each other, but it's not up to us anymore.
Yeah.
From a business standpoint.
Agreed. It's too many politics now. But wanted to ask you about your preparation, Anthony. Are you the type of fighter that watches a lot of tape on their opponents, or are you kind of mostly focus on making improvements on your style and just what you can do?
I ask you a question. Would you compliment a tall girl the way you compliment a short girl?
No.
You'll compliment them different, right?
Right.
Because she got short ass legs. You'll be like, "Ooh, girl, you got some long legs," right? Just don't. So like with boxing, I treat boxing like a woman. Boxing is my woman. I mean, my girlfriend's over here too, but boxing is my woman. So with boxing, when you adjust with opponent, you can watch film, but understand he's not going to deal with you how he dealt the last opponent. You're not going to talk to him. You're not going to treat him a certain way you treat the last person. You're not going to box him like you box the last guy. Right. He's not going to box with you that way. So it's like, why watch this film on the mistakes he's making with this guy? If that's not your style, if it's similar to it, I get it. Watch some film on it. But if this guy's this guy's a pressure fighter, right? And the guy he's fighting is a pressure fighter, but you're a slick southpaw. Well, the punches he's getting off, if you get him off, if you get lucky too, it's going to be from a different angle. It's not going to be hands-on what he's doing. So why watch film of it? So I mean, that's how I am. I watch old school film any day though. I won't watch none of this shit now. No.
That's a great analogy. I like that.
I mean, it's the best way to put it. Boxing's all about adjusting, man. But it's good enough history, so don't repeat itself. But it's like, say his style. Watch an old school fighter who's similar to the guy you're fighting, and watch how this guy beat, that guy.
Right.
People like the Chavez, like right now, say a pressure fight. Say like if I fought Canelo. Well, how did people beat Canelo's back then? It's been done. It was hard to do, but it was done. Well, who did it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, Roger Mayweather almost beat Chavez. Pernell Whitaker did it beautifully as a southpaw. Who else showed us how to move? The Puerto Rican champion, Camacho. He showed us how to move for the first couple of rounds. He went out of gas, but he showed how to be elusive and make him, you know what I'm saying? You have to watch. Yeah. It's there. But it's like all these fighters now, they all fight kind of alike. So it's just like, you watch one of their fights, you can kind of watch them all because they don't adjust. They don't change. They either know north or they know south. They know east or west.
Well,
it's like one-trick ponies. You got some that's like not one-trick ponies. Like Crawford, switch it up. Javante showed he can switch it up. Errol Spence, he hasn't really switched it up. He's going to come forward and go to the body. He's not going to be a loser boxer. I'll point you on the outside. That's not his thing. Right? So what do you do if you turn him into the boxer? Well, if you're pushing him back, I don't know. I seen a fight like that, George Foreman versus Ron Lyle, and George Foreman went down twice. So it's just like things is happening, but if you don't know the boxing, make it easier for people like me because I see him be like, I see you. You a little Alfonso Zamora. I know the style. I know names and faces like click like that. But if you don't know old school boxing, then you just you don't know.
Right.
Good point.
You don't say right like you agree with everything I said, man. You supposed to argue.
I got you. No, I got you. It did. Like speaking of your preparation, man. Like who's some people you sparred with? And we saw you got some working with George Groves. Who are some other people you sparred with?
I sparred Bivol. I sparred Benavidez. That shit was crazy, man. I sparred. Who else I sparred? When I was a kid, man, I got to spar with Angel Manfredi. I don't know if y'all remember Angel Manfredi. Fought Floyd Mayweather. Guy from
No, yeah.
But yeah. You know, and I say some of the greatest people I got to spar with is people that y'all wouldn't know. But they just happen to be like, you know, they were good at what they were good at. Like, you ever heard of J.B. Williamson?
Mm-mm.
Okay, I never got to spar him, but he used to be he's a light heavyweight world champion. He's from Indiana. He walk around with a crutch. His legs both like really messed up. He can barely walk. People won't pay attention to what he said, but I always did because I always like, this man know what he's talking about. You know, old guy sitting out eat peanuts. World champion, former world champion. I went to the WBC event and he wasn't there. His little car was there for him to sit there with all the other champions, Chavez, Mayweather, Mike Tyson, Evander Holyfield, but he wasn't there. He couldn't make it out there, but he couldn't afford it out there. But it's like these were the people that I was around. So I spar people like that. I spar people like that. Some people call me a journeyman. The guy that stay in the gym. He's amazing at the gym, but he can't do it under the lights. Guys like that, if I say their name, you wouldn't know who he was. But in the gym, man, he's not somebody you fuck with. Unfortunately, he just couldn't do it under the lights, or he never made it out of the gym.
Good point.
Like now, you don't hear about that. Marvin Hagler's name started in the ugly, stinky ass gym. There's no social media to build you up and everybody watch you. I bring his name up. I've said this before, but Hagler didn't get his first pro title. It's like 54th or 53rd fight. Sammy Sadler's another one. I think he didn't get his first title. Maybe it's like his 80th, almost 100 fight somewhere in there. These guys are fighting to get known. So it's just like I just know different boxing than most people, man. Sorry, ask me a question, but it's like what you asked, man. It's like it applies to life and boxing and like the history of boxing. It's disrespectful. People don't separate them because they're completely different worlds. Like a jab now is not the same as a jab in the 80s or a jab in the 90s, or even like Andre Royal early 2000s jab is not the same. Now a jab is more of a measuring tool to get off bombs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Go to 50s and 60s, a jab put motherfucker on the ass. So it's just like boxing is different depending on what you're talking about and what time period and what type of style. Like boxing is man. It's like boxing's like the stars, man. There's so much boxing you can grasp onto. People just go to the boxing they see on YouTube and videos, man. It's so much boxing, and you can find it where that old drunk man in the corner that know boxing.
For sure, man.
Yeah.
And Anthony, I'm seeing a side of you that I didn't know. You can have like a post boxing career, just being like an analyst and breaking things down.
People don't. I mean, I try to do that too. They want me to be on talking about the boxing, man. That's what I know.
What?
Oh man, so I know you're based out of Los Angeles now, Anthony. You know, kind of speaking of like the up and coming talent, what are some names that we should keep an eye on?
I'll be honest. I don't talk to a lot of fighters, but there's these two little fighters I seen in my gym. His name is Christian Gonzalez and Alex Gonzalez, brothers. And they're like, they remind me of like old school, like hustlers, like an Aaron Pryor. Like one's like Alexis Arguello, one's short but smoother, and one's like bigger but stronger and like vicious.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like the unlearning, whatever it takes. That old school dig, I see it in them. Like certain smells don't bother them like it would at a gym. Whether it's no stinky gloves, or people act weird. You look at their face when they ain't used to this type of like gym shit. We call it that. It's like they love it. They like they breathe they breathe for it. They text me about it. You know, we just talk about videos. Yeah, man, I'll say them. Unfortunately, like, I don't really talk to many fighters. I talk to them through social media. Mm-hmm. And yeah, there's two other heavyweights I know, but I don't want to say their name just yet because they're working in the darkness. They ain't ready for the light yet.
I respect that.
Right now, they want that, but they watching this. They know who I'm talking about. So yeah,
for sure.
And then, so going back to your fights, man. So what's been like some of your favorite U.S. venues you fought in, and then what's the like dream venue to fight in for you?
Man, most of my venues I fought in America in the beginning of my career wasn't venues you want to go to. It's like how all fighters build their careers. Like my story of boxing, how my career started, my mother managed me for like my first 10, 12 fights. I mean, she was fronting the money out of her pocket. How do you think it feels to your mother to pay you? You don't want to take the money, right?
Right.
Yeah, so, and I got another manager, and I mean, when you're building boxing like that, you work these smoker fights. And some fighters they get big signing bonus and sign these guys and these guys, but it comes back to management. A lot of reasons you don't hear about me even in America is I was based in the UK. I never branded or marketed myself here in America. I didn't need to. I was a Matchroom. I was blown up over there. So it's like now I'm back here. I'm building a brand in LA, or like nobody really knows like who's Anthony Sims. I'm just not hearing about it because I was doing all my fighting out there. Of course you're not gonna hear about it. But I'm sorry, I get off topic, run around. But it's not nothing you said, but it's like I really want like somebody to fight. Nobody want to fight, man. It's like I'm completely off topic, but like nobody wants to fight, man. It's just blowing my mind. We're talking about boxing. I'm like, what the hell is boxing coming to, man? I'm calling promoters like I'll whoop your best 160 pounder. What's going on? I have my manager contact them. My manager, man, my manager she's like the shit. She's very professional. She's worked with the elite big brands like Jordan brand. She helped create it. You can't work with a bigger name than Jordan. She's calling these promoters, and it's like, what's the issue? She's not speaking some language they don't understand. We ready to fight. That's how it happens. You call promoters, I want to fight your best 160 pounder. Here's our money. Let's make it make sense. He's not a good fit for us. What the fuck does that mean?
I'm wondering what that means as well.
I don't know what it means either. It must be another language I ain't caught up to because I don't understand it.
Yeah.
It don't make sense to me, right? And here's the thing, like, am I that good? Like, nobody want to fight me? Because I know if I was a bum, people be happy just to whoop on me. I got a good record. Shit, put him on your... Hey, you can whoop him. You can beat somebody 22 and 1 with 20 knockouts. No, it's the reason I got these KOs, baby boy. It don't matter who hop in there. It's the reason why only 2 people died. 3, if that. It wasn't because it's a highlighted career. When a man hop in there the same weight as you, he's dangerous up until you get him out of there. Especially if you know boxing. Them journeymen is the slickest, most dangerous people in the world. There's a guy, Indiana, he has the most losses in the history of boxing. His last name is Strickland. The gym I started out in he was in that gym. And I used to go to smoker fights with him, right? They should sneak me in a duffel bag. It's like 7, 8 years old because I couldn't beat these smoker fights. These are the hockey arenas, people smoking cigars and hooter grills and they drinking beer and fighting in the crowd. I shouldn't be there. Man, Strickland upset this guy. This guy was like 15-0. Strickland was just like a gap filler or some shit. He upset the guy because the guy spit on him. He's one of them journeymen that can actually fight, but they just rather just lose and fake spit, take a knee, get the money, and get on to the next fight.
Mm-hmm.
Journeyman ain't nothing to be played with. I fought some hard journeymen that fought Andre Ward, Andre the Real. I specifically picked these guys to fight him and see. If Andre Ward knocked him out, or Andre Real knocked him out in 10 rounds. If I knock him out in 2, that means something. If he just knocked him out a year ago or 2 years ago, like I'm talking to these journeymen afterwards, like, what do you think about my power? You hit harder than so and so, but you put in too much pressure. You need to learn to think. Stop trying to knock everybody out. Like I'm talking to these journeymen, getting the best advice I can get, even better from my coach because I wasn't punching my coach. I'm punching him. You feel me? Mm-hmm. So it's just like boxing, man.
I think Sports and Tunes says it well. So he just showed up in live chat and says it's duck season. Everybody kind of ducking you right now. So I guess it doesn't matter what dream venue you have in the U.S. You just want to fight right now.
No, I mean I fought in the crazy. I fought in nice venues. I think my favorite venues though were England, man. England it's a different energy in the UK because afterwards, all these same people that were screaming for you would take you out to eat, become friends with these people. And you wouldn't normally do that in America. You're not about to just go walk around with strangers.
Right.
After a fight. No. After a fight, man, these people take you all around, show you the whole city while you're there, treat you like family, taking pictures with you. It's like, what's all this love? Because over there, they get in touch with the character of the fighter before they even see the fighter fight. But over here, it's not like that. They just want to see, trading punches and knocking each other out. But over there, they get like in tune with the fighter. The music you listen to, talking to you before the fights, press conferences, open workouts. This is what getting to know the fighter is. But it's like now that's not happening, so people don't know these fighters in a personal way. But out there, it was great, man. And being able to walk up to the top to the nosebleeds and hand my gloves out after each fight. These are some nice crowds, 40, 50,000, 60,000. These some big crowds of people. So yeah, man.
All right, so Sports and Tunes says fight Triple G. Is that a name that interests you?
Man, that'd be dope to fight Triple G. That would be like that'd be dope. That'd be like a real Rocky fight. Like you talking about Apollo versus Russian and shit. Like this is this would be great. It's gonna be testing my boxing IQ and boxing. That's what it's all about. Because it comes down to just a millisecond who wins and who loses based off a certain punch, a slip, a feint, a body shot, timing. That's all it takes. So it's just like it's the only sport where it can be 50-50. Inside that ring, there's no racism, there's no hate, there's no jealousy. It's nothing but just blood and honor for 3 minutes, 36 minutes, straight through. So it's like that's how I see boxing. I hope y'all starting to see like how I see boxing is completely different than how people see boxing. Got to squeeze on my stress ball for a minute.
And then Anthony, as you mentioned, you're 22-1, 20 knockouts.
Yeah.
Which would you say has been your best win so far?
I think my best win was over Von Alexander because Von Alexander wasn't an easy guy to beat. He was tough. He did some time, so guys like that, mentally tough. If time couldn't break them, you're not about to. So being able to outbox him and outthink him, outsmart him, still give the fans, jokey ha-has. Like I caught me with a good shot. It was like, that was my best win. Yeah.
Nice.
And then who do you think the hardest puncher you've been in the ring is? Would you say him as well?
Hell no. Angulo, hands down.
Oh.
Angulo, like, I know it don't look like it, but like if you watch fast forward the end of my fight with Angulo and look at our faces afterwards. I had a couple lumps right here because I kept getting caught here, and as my fuck kept turning my head, I was lumped up right here, but his shit was all lumped up. So it's like I was hitting him, but he was hitting me. It don't look like I was hitting him because it like little pats, but them pats got something on the end of them. But he it's a South American power. They grunt when they hit you. And, he hit hard, dog. But it's like dealing with that. It's like after dealing with that, man, he hit me so hard. I didn't know the fourth round. I didn't know what round it was. I was like, what round is the fourth? Like, no, it's the eighth. I was like, whoa. But it's like if you can deal with that, you can fight. The voices you hear in your head. You can get through that, man. You're good. That's just the hardest part. When it's like you can prepare for the time, but when the shit happens, it happens. And no matter what you train or what you thought or what you did beforehand, right now you got a decision. You can fall out and quit. You can make an excuse, take a knee, say this broke, say this hurt. Or you can say fuck it, and let's do it. I'm gonna do this the best way I know how. So it's like those are the moments you live for, man. It's like life or death situations. Like, can you imagine getting dropped in the 5th round and you come back and win a title? Like, that's amazing, right? That's like big Super Bowl shit. You got knocked out in the 5th round, and you came back and knocked you out in the 12th round with 40 seconds left. Like, damn, like that's crazy. So it's like you live for moments like that. But then again, how do you get them if you can't even get in the damn ring to fight somebody who would give you that type of fight? I got to go to Dubai to get a fight.
Yeah, I don't know this comment. I should read it. It might scare the promoters here more, but Sportsman 2 says, keep working, champ. You're a monster.
You goddamn right. I appreciate it.
And then, Anthony, who was your favorite boxer growing up?
Man, my favorite boxer, man, was this guy in my gym. Was 2 of them. But actually, one of them, you can go and watch a video of him. His name was, damn it, I forgot. His name was Joe. I want to say Joe Lewis, but his name isn't Joe Lewis. Damn it, I forgot his name. He'll come back to Joe Hutchinson.
Joe Hutchinson. He
cut Arturo Gatti up. And he's just a guy from my gym. He was right-handed, but he fought southpaw, I think. Yeah, or he was flipped. And he had braids, and he's always come in with his girlfriend who always had scrubs on. And at the time, like, the scrub show was real big, so I thought they were celebrities or some shit. Cause I'm a kid. So, man, he used to come to the gym. He used to work, man. He used to work hard. He used to work always like 90s, big puffy headgear, big gloves, big red guard, little mean guy. Old school, like Tyson, little mean dude. What? Work number body, just beating the crap out of guys. He messed Arturo Gatti up. And I think like he lost a decision to him or some shit. Y'all should watch the fight. This guy just from my gym. And then another guy named Sherman, Anthony Sherman. He showed me like the swiftness of like you see Sugar Ray Leonard move around the ring when he the warm up part though. You don't see like vintage warm ups are like so smooth. They look effortless. Look like Jersey Joe's vintage warm up and Max Baer and like fighters like that who had like their own gimmick. You watch their warm-ups, they all had different warm-ups. Like Lomachenko has some weird warm-up. Like it's interesting because nobody else do it, but if you think about it, like we're gonna be punching a ping pong, just texting my fucking head for it. Like, what the fuck? But it's like he's old school, you know, Joe Hutchinson, how he moved around and had people punch his elbows, to George Foreman, how he wouldn't even punch. Him warming up, people would swing as hard as they can. He would just block the punches with his hand like a zombie. Like, you know, that's why I used to watch Sherman. Sherman used to warm up around the ring and just, you know, he would just skip sideways around the whole entire ring. He used every center, every inch of that ring. And he would do it for like almost 10 minutes straight. I'm like, this is cool. But the way he would do it is just like it was mesmerizing. All of a sudden, it's 10 minutes that quick. I'm like, I thought we just started. So it's like I said, it'd be guys, you know, guys that got me intrigued with boxing, crazy about boxing, even people that you know. But it's like they were, they were devoted to the sport.
Right.
Yeah. I'm getting
Man, who would you say is your?
Definitely. We're just soaking it in. Keep bringing it. Keep bringing
No,
it.
you keep it coming. Keep it coming.
Okay, what's going on?
No, yeah, I was about to say yeah. So who would you say is your number one pound for pound active fighter like right now?
Pound for pound active fighter, man. It's like his name is not even talked about a lot, but you know, Cool Boy.
Yeah, Cool Boy Steph.
Yeah, Cool
Okay,
Boy
so
Steph.
we
Yeah,
don't call him that. We call him Scooter. That's how I grew up with him. We call him
Scooter.
yeah, Scooter. I heard that name before too. Yeah.
because I'm from Indiana, right? But most of my fights, I was always in the region with Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, and
Philly.
Philadelphia. Yeah. So I always see them. I'm like, man, who's all these motherfuckers with like the Timberland boots and the little rat tail and gold teeth? But we like 14, 15 years old, and they like little grown man out there. Montana Love's another one. Like all of us.
Yeah.
You got Montana Love, Dusty Harrison, Schoolboy Q. I mean, that's Schoolboy Q, but Cool Boy Steph. You got all these guys. I'm tripping, man. My fault. I got that one though. But you got all these guys fighting as teenagers. I fought Montana Love, man, and we cried afterwards because we best friends. We used to bet donuts every fight. Silver gloves, ringside. Like, you know, I grew up fighting with these guys.
Mm-hmm.
But I say right now, Cool Boy. He's a unified WBO and a WBA champion, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
Pound for pound, I really want to see Crawford because he's the only person I see that those other fighters too. You know, he's Devontae and other up and coming names, but it's like Terrence. He reminds me of that old swamp man. Like, who's at my door? Get the fuck out of here. And that's why I want to see him. I want to see him fight. You know, it's the interview him offering with his two businessmen. I got two people to offer Errol Spence $25 million. Who don't want to take a deal like that? They putting it up front. That's real guaranteed money. You do realize NBA, NFL, MLB, that's guaranteed money contracts. Boxing don't work like that.
It's back
They
end.
don't give you that money up front. You better take that thing.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just speaking facts, man.
You are.
Facts, okay?
No, for real.
Yeah. And now we want to ask your thoughts on the middleweight division, 160 pounds. What are your thoughts on the champions and kind of the other big names in that division?
Nah, I don't agree with that.
Well, I guess all we know is that they don't want to fight you. That's what we know for sure.
Yeah, I mean, who is at 160 that actually wants to fight? Because it's more of a situation. You're talking about from a business standpoint. I get it. Don't fight him. He won't generate a lot of followers here in the U.S. Don't have a big base in the U.S. But I do have all the criteria of somebody you will fight. But on paper, it's not somebody you want to fight because the risk is too great, the reward is too small, and you want to take that chance. But that's what the fuck made boxing. Upsets, come-ups, transitioning from this guy going here to this guy going here. Now it's more strategic, so it's like, boxing, man. I'm sorry, I get off topic every time. Y'all can't talk this boxing shit because I would time travel to a whole nother place.
All good, man. All good.
No.
Hey, but ask me a question again so I can answer it. Like,
Go for it. Oh, so the same question or one new question?
Yeah, ask me the same question. Yeah.
Yes, all right. So what are your thoughts on the middleweight division, the champions,
Okay.
and up-and-coming fighters?
They fucking suck. It's just like, man, I want to fight the best, and it's like I'm not gonna say I want to fight like Murata. Murata might have brain damage. Let's be honest, man. Like I fight with Triple G, nobody stands in front of Triple G like that. Like I'll be surprised he ain't walking backwards for the rest of his life. Let's be honest, man. Who's gonna stand there and take one of them punches like this?
Yeah, no.
On the top of your forehead and shit like this. Like I'm not. So it's just I want to fight. I want to fight Munguia or Charlo. These all be great names. I can't really names like I want to fight these big names, but it's just like ain't no chickens but a lot of ducks.
Yeah, I mean, this was Person 2 mentioned. He said Munguia ? But Munguia was Andrade's mandatory for how many years, and that fight never happened. So
I got another name from Mungie. I ain't gonna say. My man.
All right, let's go to the
Watching
next
this,
question.
mama, I said this for you. I'm being
Yeah.
respectful. I call my manager mama. It's my mama manager. She take good care of me. So I'm listening to what she told me. She told me don't act up. Don't say nothing crazy. Don't disrespect nobody.
We're gonna ask you to say something crazy with the next question. Go ahead, TJ.
I was about to say, speaking on your thoughts, we was gonna ask you, obviously Jake Paul just had a fight, and then we was gonna ask you,
I just walked out.
what
I
would
just
it?
walked out this whole
He's like,
conversation. Like,
he's like, y'all getting me in trouble.
drop the mic, man. Hold up.
Obviously,
Wait a
he
minute
just,
there now, okay? Yeah. All right. Go
he
ahead.
just
Ask
won
your
his
question,
sixth.
man. Ask your question.
Yeah, so obviously he just won his sixth boxing match. What would it take for him to what would he have to do for you not to consider him a clown?
Not to consider him a clown.
Mhm.
Right.
It'd be very hard it'd be very hard for me to do this. But first, you gotta take off his big ass clown shoes and his red fucking nose and that big ass rainbow wig. Not about to happen. He fucking clown, man. He's a fucking clown. I'm gonna say this. It doesn't come from a jealous or a hater standpoint. It's coming from a disrespect of the art and what the art is. What is fighting? What is boxing for? Who are the main people that love boxing? Who's the main people that do boxing? Not the fucking elite class or the middle class. It's boxing's a poor man's sport. It's a hustling man's sport. So anybody can come in and put their face on a belt or buy their way into a card where somebody else is supposed to be fighting. Somebody trained their whole life and that's supposed to be a highlighted career, and some fucking YouTuber came in and stepped in. I got an issue with that. Because best believe if Marshawn Lynch is supposed to run the ball and they're like, we're gonna take you out and put old Job up, Cook in. Like, you gonna what the fuck? Why Marshawn Lynch running the ball? You gonna put him in for what? He didn't play his whole life and got to this point out of Oakland of all places, made it out of there to play elite football, and you gonna put him on the sideline? Same shit. So it's just I don't agree with it, man. I don't consider him a real fighter because here's this why. You haven't fought any real fighters. You fought a Kevin Hart who could dunk. You fought Tyron Woodley. He a UFC fighter. Everybody know UFC fighters have the worst fucking stand-up game. Like Silva just make y'all look good. Y'all stand-up game is mad. If I missed y'all would be mad. Y'all be insulted. If I went to jab you and I didn't hit you, hit me, bro. Y'all know, like, really, bro, UFC fighters, y'all take kicks, knees, elbows to the face. Another thing, you're not fighting an actual fighter. You're fighting a UFC legend at 47 years old. You're not aware he's not even able to use all his skill. He's using his fucking pinky to fight you because he throws elbows, kicks, arm locks, leg locks, flying knees, submissions, groundwork. Like, what? That's a whole art in itself. People go to school their whole life and wrestle. So it's like, you feel me? Like this is what we're talking about. Silva, his whole life, he go fight Jake and he's using the pinky. He used his whole body his whole life. Now he got to use the pinky, and he used the pinky and beat Chavez. It's a bad motherfucker at 47.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But he's not a fighter. Well, no, he's a fighter. Jake Paul's not a fighter, but like fighting Silva that won't make him a fighter. Silva be the fighter, he's right, but he hasn't even been to use his own skills. So it's like y'all see like, oh, poor Silva, this old 47-year-old man. It's like he's an amazing legend. You shouldn't fight legends. You want to fight a fighter? Fight somebody your age. Don't go fight some older man. Fight an actual fighter. He ain't fought no fighter. You can train. You can look like a boxer. You can walk like a boxer. You can talk like a boxer. But here's the thing with boxing. It's unlike other sports. Basketball, football, baseball, you play with balls. Boxing, you got to have them motherfucker. And you're not going to have them until you get in there with somebody who can knock your shit off your head. So, when you get in there with somebody who can knock your shit clean off your head, holler at me. I make you a fighter. And you standing there toe-to-toe, whether it's a million people or nobody. And you go up against them odds, that's what makes you a fighter. You're fighting against what? Obstacles, adversity. You're fighting. Like, that's what it is. It's a chance you're fighting. It's not like a walk through the park. There's a reason why you're fighting this person. Because if you don't hit them, they're going to hit your ass. Till you fight somebody, you scared of them hitting you? Because if they hit you, you might go to fucking sleep. I don't consider yourself a fighter. Every person who's gotten a boxing, they fighters. Why? Because the first time they hopped in that ring to spar, they knew that their ass might get clipped by somebody who actually knew how to fight. And what happened? They usually did. I say maybe 6 or 7 amateur fights. I got stopped back to back each time. They stopping me. Boom, 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 back to back. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm doing my best getting stopped. But that's what made me a fighter. I went in there knowing I might lose this motherfucker. So it's just like the mindset of a fighter. You're not no fighter. You want to be a fighter. This shit look hot. Everybody want to box now. Everybody thinking they Apollo Creed and shit. No, I live this shit. Boxing, I didn't have no normal life. When you commit to boxing, you don't choose boxing. Boxing chooses you. He chose boxing. You choose boxing. No, boxing, you don't choose. You don't choose boxing. Boxing chooses you. You got to be able to love it when it's not generating money. That's like real love for boxing. Boxing chooses you. You still there even when it's gritty, when it's ugly, when nobody else know why the fuck you in that gym. Because you love it. It chose you. It's an addiction. It's a sickness. You can't shake it. Not I'm gonna do this. It's gonna make me a lot of money. No, I'm gonna go and do this because the only fucking way I'm gonna make money like this. That's what boxing is, bro. So it's just like the beauty of like being a pugilist. It's like one of the oldest Olympic sports in history. Men fought at the beginning of men fought. Were they fighting fucking animals or fighting each other? Barbarians. They fought. They didn't have like a setup like, okay, you're a man, you're gonna fight this 50-year-old man to take over the jungle. No, you have to fight somebody like you.
Yeah,
right?
that line. Absolutely.
Just like that. Even gorillas, like when they battling for their square, no, this is my home. You got somebody's trying to take somebody's trying to take your crib. What you gonna do? You gotta fight them. You don't pick. I don't want to fight that gorilla. I'll fight the old one back there. No.
Oh man.
Oh man. You're a hater. It's like, what makes me is my perspective. How I see shit is how I see it. The issue is people won't say what they see.
Yeah, like it's like Solomon from the WBC. I know he just sees the money. He wants to just like make that money, but I find his comment way out of line.
What'd you say?
Mauricio Solomon, his comment saying like Jake Paul's a legit fighter. Yeah. You know. But anyways, next question. So now we're gonna move into what we call
and look, I love the WBC. WBC takes care of their babies. Man, they take care of these kids. They're giving these kids belts, getting them in tournaments, making sure they're taken care of. I love that. Now they all gotta do to make me happy, make the right fights happen with myself. I'm here. What's up? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, overall though, Superman doing what he's doing. He's making that money. He's making fights happen. I just want my fight to happen.
All right. Well, we're gonna ask you to predict some fights and the outcomes. So for the next section, we call kind of the fans corner. So we're gonna ask you to put your fan hat on and predict who's gonna win these matchups.
I will never. How dare you ask me?
You can say like I don't care, but
what do you mean? Put a fan hat on. You need to hear what I talked about. Talking about put a fan hat on.
The whole thing. So, right. you like it stays on. It stays on. So for the first matchup, I want to ask you about who do you think would win out of Canelo Alvarez versus David Benavidez?
David Benavidez
knockout.
Hell yeah! No stoppage through embarrassment. Canelo probably will come out.
Damn.
All right.
What about Zach Parker, John Ryder?
John Ryder. John Ryder. I give Zach Parker maybe because of his elusive movement, he can switch back and forth. But here's the issue: John Ryder can punch, and he's strong. He's a southpaw. What happens when Zach Parker gets touched on his chin? Right.
Good question. Yeah.
So it's like the thing is like I've been touched on my chin. I dealt with it. But the issue is like, what do you do when this guy ain't been hit on the chin? Interesting. John Ryder, he really wants to. Zach Parker's up and coming, so now you got like a grudge match of this guy who knows like if he loses again, he's kind of out of it. He's getting up there. He's fought some big names, but he still hasn't got the recognition he deserves. But you got Zach Parker, the bigger name. This is like a Hagler Sugar Ray Leonard fight. Fighting on the same card, top order deal, and Sugar Ray Leonard's making like $2 million, and Hagler's making $50,000. They're fighting the same type of fights, big fights. So it's like this is gonna be a grudge match. Ryder might have it. Anybody watch this? You see, this is why you should put me on ESPN Top Rank. You see that? That was beautiful.
That was beautiful.
Boom.
And final fight, we're gonna ask you about Caleb Plant versus Jermall Charlo.
Hold on, real quick. Stay right there. Okay, ask me a question again.
Caleb Plant versus Jermall Charlo. Who's gonna win that one?
Well, I think that Caleb Plant versus Jermall Charlo.
Mm-hmm.
I think Caleb Plant wins because skills make fights. I mean, styles make fights, but skills pay the bills. At the end of the day, you're dealing with who knows more. Because you got guys that are both fast, both experienced. You got one that's stronger than the other, but one is showing like, well, maybe he's just as strong as Charlo. He has that one punch power we've seen with Darrell, right?
Right.
Now we're looking at a situation. What fight have we seen like that? We got a puncher versus more like a boxer puncher. Y'all think of a fight like that? A puncher versus a boxer puncher? You say like Joe McClellan and Julian Jackson, right? Julian Jackson could punch, but Gerald McClellan could box and he could punch. Crunk boxer. So it's like, okay, let's see what's going on. Because Caleb Plant has changed from somebody who couldn't punch. People looked at him like a Chris Bird. He's real elusive, could box, but he have power, right? You don't look at him like that no more. Now you look at him more like he's not a Tommy Hearns, but Tommy Hearns can go from boxing to bow, crack you with one punch and you're out of there. So it's like, it's an interesting fight, man. These are interesting fights. But Charlo didn't look that good against, what's the little Mexican guy for?
Castaño.
Yeah, man.
I know.
Like, that motherfucker's exposing. He's exposing Charlo. Like, I realized, Charlos they don't like when you put them on the ropes. They don't like going backwards. And they don't like when you throw mirage of punches. And, like, when they want to fight, you don't fight them.
Yeah, I think it's actually Montiel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
Was it? I thought it was another cat. I'm tripping.
It was the other one. That's the other Charlo.
Yeah,
okay, I'm tripping.
The lighterweight.
Okay, so you're talking about the other one.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I ain't really looked at him like that. I know he's got some crazy ass haircuts. That's all I know.
All right. So that's the last one. So let's get back to you. Go ahead, TJ.
Yeah. So, really just wanted to get something personal about you, man. What's some things you like to do outside of boxing?
I roller skate. I roll bounce almost like 2 or 3 days a week.
No, I can do some skating too, man. I feel you on that.
Where your skates at? My skate's right behind me.
They in my car. They got to keep
All
them in the whip
exactly.
ready to
That's
go.
The worst place. That's the worst place to put them at. Why you go there? If you
Get
keep
stolen?
skates in your car, crackheads take your skates and they pawn them. You laughing? That shit happened to me twice. So
Oh,
like,
no.
Yeah. Second time it happened, I knew. I was like, if I go right now and go by this pawn shop, they might be in there. I caught the motherfucker skating to the pawn shop. True story.
Dude.
Called him skating to the pawn shop. Where you get them skates at? Nowhere. I got my skates.
All right. It's Sports and Tunes with a comment. It says, we got to hire Sims for when we cover fights. He has great mic skills.
I mean, it's just like, who wants to hear a biased announcer all the fucking time? That's boring. Like,
Right.
let's hear some confrontation. Let's hear some George Foreman talking some shit like, nah, he's not going to make it out this fight. That boy needs some milk. Like, that's what George Bro, yeah. Any other question y'all got for me? Because I mean, it's actually interesting. I got to ask like one more question.
We got one more. And it unfortunately, it's not really a question. It's just giving you the floor. So what's something you want to send, a message you want to send to your fans and supporters?
Yeah, I tried to spin it on me.
Mm-hmm.
I would say, it's a quote, excuse me if I'm wrong, but it's by Genghis Khan. He said, if you're doing it, don't be afraid. And if you're afraid, don't do it. Simple as that. If you're doing it, don't be afraid. If you're already in the mix of it, you know, the fear of thinking about it. Now, you're just fearing what possibilities happen in the future. You can't get inside your mind. If you're doing it, don't be afraid. You're doing this shit. If you're afraid, maybe you shouldn't do it. I know it's contradicting, but it's like, if you're afraid like that, like, but if you're doing it, don't be afraid. So there you go. But besides that, I'll say this too. Practice don't make perfect. Practice makes permanent. Whatever you do is what the hell you going to do. So just know you can practice wrong. Practice don't make perfect. Practice makes permanent. Otherwise, you get somebody telling you, like, good news is you made it a long way. But the bad news is you went the wrong way. Type of ordeal. You don't want that. Practice right.
All right, man. And anyone that's listening or watching back, you ended things deep here. I'm like, I gotta play this interview back because you got lots of like good nuggets of information in this interview, man.
I'm about to be thinking about that. I'm about to be thinking about that all day.
Hey, you over here sound like Larry Merchant with the floor.
Man, but Anthony, thank you so much for your time. This is a great interview. We're excited to see you back in the ring and sending all the support.
Hey man, as soon as I get the news, I'll let y'all guys know.
For sure, man.
My God.
All right, peace. Thank you, Anthony.
Supposed to be 30 minutes. 54 minutes.
I lied.